Welcome to Yogaroo Online. So for this practice, all you need is just one blanket. This practice is a blended class that it's the way I've been practicing a lot recently, where I move with kind of purposeful flowing mobility and stability flows at the start, and then towards the end I come into some restorative poses to assimilate the practice and working with both sides of the nervous system. So the doing is the movement, and the non-doing, or the restoring, the replenishing, is the restorative part of the practice. And what we're trying to do is teach the nervous system how to move from one to the other, and to say, for example, like, you know, in the evening when you come home from a very busy day and your mind is just really busy, you need the nervous system to be pre-trained how to then tap down into a lower gear. And, you know, similarly in the morning when you're getting up, you want to have a reactive nervous system so that you can create, start doing, come to the sympathetic nervous system, you know, and start getting into your day. This particular theme for this class is individual mobility. So what we're going to be working with is your range of movement. And I wouldn't even suggest you go to your full range of movement. It's always nicer to stay with something that feels more comfortable, that you're not hitting the edges. Those edges can be a little bit sticky, and they can be where injury happens. So I will stay with lovely fluid movement comfortably within your range of movement. So if you find that I brought you into something, be it the shoulders, the hips, or the spine, and you hit something and you're not moving fluidly and smoothly, reduce your range of movement a little bit for the following rounds of repetitions. So this class is the class that I teach on a Friday morning. The next session is starting on the 3rd of September, and you can book in online on www.yogaroo.ie. Okay, I think we will get started now. So coming onto the top of your mat, hands and knees, making sure that your shoulders are stacked over your wrists and your hips are stacked over your knees there. We're going to come through a warm-up first. And we're going to do that on the right side and then the left side. And then we're going to go through rounds of flowing standing flows, and we're going to add on to them as we move. So you will get this idea of familiarity, which is a theme that I've worked with before, and then we add on to it to get lovely fluid movement going, so that you feel this fluid movement throughout your day as well, because what we do on our mats is all about how we want to feel off our mats. Okay, so we'll get started. Coming in to just before we even start our warm-up, let's do a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, let the belly soften down towards the ground, and exhale, lift your spine up towards the ceiling. Let's do 2 more rounds. Inhale, soften the belly towards the ground, the gaze comes forward, maybe adding on here. So press your hands into the ground, draw your hands back towards your knees here, and then exhale, lifting your spine up towards the ceiling, pressing into your hands, and draw your hands away from you. Just that extra little bit of activity, and feel the shoulder blades spread that little bit more across your back there. Okay, we're going to move into our flow now, our warm-up flow. So we start with the cat-cow. Inhale, belly softens down towards the ground. Exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale again, bringing the belly down towards the ground. Feel the hips rotate on the top of the femurs forward as the hip bones lift up and back. And then for our exhale now, we're going to lift the spine up towards the ceiling. We're going to come onto the tops of our feet there and lift the knees off the floor. So here's your exhale, bit of core work here. Inhale, back to all fours again. And let the belly soften down towards the ground. And then exhale, press your hips back towards your feet. Let your spine curl. Now, sometimes we do this version where we keep the spine open. We're going to let the spine curl, coming into kind of a nice arch in our back there. And then inhale, you're going to pivot that right foot off to the side of your mat, reach your left leg away and reach the left arm up. Exhale, reach that left arm back towards your left foot. You're just reaching them towards each other, but you're not holding on to them. So we're just opening up the front of that left hip there. And then inhale to reach it out again, reach that left leg away, reach the left arm up. And then exhale back to all fours again. Okay, so we'll do the same flow on the other side. Inhale, soften the belly down towards the ground, and exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Feel the shoulder blades spread across your back there. Inhale, softening the spine towards the ground. Exhale, lifting the spine up towards the ceiling, coming up onto the tops of the feet there. Feel the core waking, 360 core, cinching the waist in. Inhale, soften the belly down towards the ground again. And then exhale, coming into your soft forward fold in our child's pose. Inhale, this time you're pivoting the left foot off the left side of your mat. You're reaching your right leg away and the right arm up. So now you'll see the back of what I'm doing with that hand there. Exhale, I'm reaching the hand towards my right foot, but I'm not holding on to it. So it's more active. Inhale to reach them again, and then exhale back to all fours. So that's our warm up. We're going to do one more little warm up on each side just to get a little bit of fluid movement through our shoulders here. So we're going to inhale here and exhale, just step that right leg forward just to the outside of your right hand there. And you can maybe even bring that foot at a 45-degree angle on your mat there, just to give a little bit of more space for the hips. Tuck your left toes under here. And then we're going to ground. You can either come up onto the fist of that left hand or bring the hand down towards the ground, whatever feels good for the hips there. We're going to reach on an inhale, reach that right arm up towards the ceiling. And then on an exhale, you're going to sweep. I'm going to hit into my concrete there. Sweep the arm forward and down and tap the top of the left thigh there. So inhale, reaches the arm up, and you might even sweep it all the way down towards your back there, or else keep it up high. And then exhale, sweep the arm forward and tap your thigh, second round. Inhale, bring the knee down, reach the arm back and around. So like you're drawing a circle in the sky with your fingertips here. Nice straight arms. And exhale, reach the arm forward, tap the thigh. One more round. Inhale, reach the arm up and back. And exhale, sweep the arm forward and tap. Bring that left knee down and we'll go straight over to the other side. So you're going to, on an inhale, step that left leg forward to the outside of the left hand. Maybe have the foot at a 45-degree angle, with a bit more space for the inner groin, either coming up onto the fist of your right hand or bring the hand down onto the ground, or you can come up onto the fingertips, but just, press strongly into the fingertips because you will be lifting that right leg. Tuck the right toes under here. Inhale, reach that left arm up first. Exhale, lift that right knee, reach the left arm down, tap the right thigh. Inhale, right knee down, sweep the arm up and around, nice and slowly here, maybe tapping the back of your pelvis. And then exhale, sweep the arm around and tap the right thigh, second round. Inhale, sweep the arm around, pressing or tapping the back of your pelvis. And exhale, sweeping the arm around, tapping the top of the thigh. Inhale to come back up again, and then exhale, just coming down to all fours. Okay, we're going to start our standing flow now. So the first part of which will be the bit that we repeat, and as I said, we add on to it, and we do both right and left, starting with the right side. So let's just take an exhale here, taking a moment. Inhale, we're going to step that right leg forward just to the inside of the right hand. And exhale, step left leg forward, folding down. Bend in the knees if you need them. Inhale, coming up halfway, press your hands into your knees, reach the chest forward, and exhale, folding down. Inhale, press into your feet, particularly the back of the heels there. Reach the arms up high, feel the legs waking up. And exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Okay, now, guys who have done classes with me before, you'll remember this one. So we're going to pour all our weight into our right leg and lift the left leg up. Flex the foot, hands to the hips for a bit of balance. Yes, come over to the wall or a unit if you need a little bit of help balancing. So we're going to keep the arms, actually, if you can keep the arms out, that will give you your balance as well. So what we're going to do, inhale here, and we're going to exhale, bring that leg and try and see, can you bring the knee up and keep it up as high as possible, and then rotate the whole leg forward and reach it back. So here again, we're getting this lovely inwards and outward rotation of the hips. So just look at me again. I have the leg up for my inhale, and then exhale, I'm opening it out to the side. I rotate the whole lower leg back and then reach the whole leg back. Okay, and then we'll do that one or a few more times because you guys probably haven't done it as many as me now. So inhale, reaches it up. Exhale, opens it out to the side, keeping it up as high as possible. And then rotate the leg forward. So this action of the whole hip rotating forward and reach the leg back. And it's still, as I reach it back, I'm still lifting it up. So I'm working the back of those, the hip muscles there in the back of the leg. We do one more. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, open it out to the side and reach the leg forward and back. Now, you're just going to step that left leg back now and reach the arms back. So make sure your feet are nice and wide here for your arrowhead. This is our exhale. So starting with our first standing flow. Ground that left foot down. Keep that right leg facing forward. Sweep the right arm up and over and find our way into our reverse warrior. Then from here, now you can place the right hand on the right knee if you need to. We're going to come back around and step that left leg forward again. So you're going to all the way around. This is our exhale. Step that left leg forward and come into chair pose. So if you find that step forward is very hard to get with your balance, maybe don't bring the leg as far back as you usually would for your warrior. Okay, so 2 more rounds of that. We're in our chair pose for our exhale. Inhale, step that left leg back, left hand to left thigh, reach the right arm up and over. Exhale, sweep that right arm forward again, hands in prayer position, and step that left leg forward for second round. This is our exhale. Inhale, step that left leg back, keep the hips down nice and low. Sweep the right arm up and over for our warrior, reverse. And exhale last time, sweep the arms. Remembering we're still drawing lines in the air with our fingertips. Hips face to the front of the mat, step that left leg forward into our chair pose. Now we need to start our next flow from the back of the mat, but that will be on our next round. So this is the come up standing there while I just explained. This is the foundation of the flow. There's somebody coming in. This is the foundation of our flow, and we will add those little two pose flows as we move along. Okay, so we're going to do that whole flow from the left side now. So you're going to pour all your weight into your left foot now and do the same thing. We're going to lift up. You bring the hands out either side of you. Lift up that right leg now, and that same movement that we're looking for, that full mobility of the hip there. This is our inhale. Our exhale, you open the hip out to the side, keep the knee flexed, foot flexed, and then you send the leg back. So it's the whole leg is rotating in its socket as you reach it back. Okay, so view from the side is lifting the leg up in your inhale, exhale and opening it out to the side and rotating the whole thing forward as it stays lifted. And then I reach the leg back. I squeeze the back of that hip there. Let's do one more of them. Inhale to lift the leg up. Exhale, rotating it out to the side. Rotate the whole thing in its socket and reach the leg back. It's okay if the upper body comes forward a little bit. Just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze in the back of that hip there. And then step that right leg back now and find your way into arrowhead. Make sure those hips or the legs are nice and wide on your mat there now. Okay, so from this position, we're going to come into our reverse on the left side now. So you ground your right foot, sweep that left arm up and over to come into our reverse. Okay, and then we're going to sweep the arm forward, bring the left arm or right arm to meet it, hands in prayer position, pivot that right hip round to face forward again, step it forward, exhale into child's pose. So there are two poses, reverse, not child's pose, chair, reverse chair. Okay, and taking it in your time. And don't forget that if this step forward is quite tricky for you with your balance, come into a much narrower. This could be your reverse, and then you step forward. Just again, moving within your unique range of movement. Okay, from chair, exhale, we'll do our second round of this. Step the right leg back, right arm to right thigh, sweep that left arm up and over for our reverse. This is our inhale, And then exhale, sweep the arms forward into prayer position, pivot that right leg around, step it forward, exhale into our chair pose. One more round. Inhale to step that right leg back, right hand, right thigh, sweep that left arm up and over. Inhaling, exhaling, sweep the arms forward, hands in prayer position, step right leg forward into chair pose. Okay, so that is the full foundational flow here. We're going to start at the top of our mat again, do our leg and hip rotations, and add 2 little flows onto that. Okay, so you stay at the top of your mat. I'm going to demo from the side here. So we're going to pour all the weight into our left foot again and lift pour all the weight into your right foot because we want the left leg to be stepping back. Lift that left leg up, inhaling. And let's get a little bit more fluid movement here now so that we can get more into our practice. Exhaling, reaching the leg back. Inhaling, lifting. So big circles with that knee there. Exhale, reaching it back. So think of the knee as the thing that you want to make the biggest movement in the air, or the biggest circle in the air. Inhaling and exhaling. Then stepping that left leg back, finding your way into arrowhead. In our inhale, listen carefully now, you're going to ground that left foot, open the hips to the side of your mat, sweeping the right arm up and over and finding our way into our reverse warrior. Then this same movement again, we're going to in our exhale here to step that left leg forward to come into chair. That's our first round. Inhaling, reverse. Exhaling, chair. Last round. Inhaling, reverse. And exhaling into chair. We need to start our next one from reverse. So on inhale, we're going to sweep it back. Inhaling, reaching that right arm up and over for the second mini flow. We are now going to pivot that left foot around to the back of the mat and the right foot around at a 45-degree angle and find our way at the back of our mat. So that's our 2 movements now. You can keep that left hand on that left knee there as we open, and we basically are just doing this with the legs, and the upper body is kind of keeping in this sweeping position. Okay, so let's start from the reverse warrior again. Inhaling here, exhaling, pivot the feet around and finding our way into Karsvakanasa at the back of the mat. This is our exhale. Inhaling, just the legs that are moving. We're coming from reverse. Exhaling, pivot the feet around to the back of the mat. Okay, we'll do one more of them. Inhaling to reverse and exhaling, pivoting the feet around to the back of the mat. Okay, now this is where we start for our next flow, but we're going to come back to the front of our mat so that we can take the second side of this. So inhaling up, we'll come to goddess pose, dip the knees down, and then stepping forward up to the top of our mat. And we'll do that same flow on the second side. So we need our right leg to be stepping back. So we're going to pour all our weight into our left leg now. Lift the right knee up, inhaling, arms out, and exhaling, bringing the leg back. Circles with the knee again. Inhaling, sweeping forward, and exhale, bringing the leg back. Squeeze into the back of that glute there. Inhaling, reaching it forward, and exhale, sweeping it back, getting ready to step back, reach the arms back and find our way into arrowhead. Okay, so our first flow now is ground the right foot, sweep the left arm up and over into our reverse. This is our inhale. Exhale, pivot that whole right hip around again, hands in prayer position, step the right leg forward into chair. Okay, that's first round. Inhale, step the leg back into reverse and exhaling into chair. So as we come through repetitions on these, I'll just kind of give you less instruction as you get more familiar with them. Last round, inhale into reverse and exhale, hands in prayer position into chair. Okay, so the next one starts in reverse. So inhale, reach the arms up and over, and then exhale. Exhale, we're going to pivot the feet around and come into Parsvakonasana at the back of the mat. Maybe just keeping the hand on the knee rather than bringing the elbow down so that you have a little bit more control of the legs. Inhale into reverse, so the upper body kind of stays where it is, and then exhale to the back of your mat, second round. Inhale, pivot the feet, so the whole foot of they're both doing the opposite things and just pivoting around, so the right and the left in alternates faces to the back and the front of the mat, and exhale into reverse. Okay, so let's take a journey back to the front of your mat through Goddess pose, and then you're going to step yourself up to the top of your mat and take a breath here. Okay, so these two little chunks of our mini pose, we're going to add another one onto that. So hopefully you're starting to get a little bit familiar with the foundation parts of the practice, which we are building on top of. Now, pouring all your weight into your, always get this one mixed up. We want the right leg to step back. So we're pouring, or the left leg, pouring all your weight into your right foot, lift the left leg up, bring the arms out to the side. Inhale here, exhale, pivot the hip around to the back of the mat. Inhale, reach and lift, keep the foot flexed. And exhale, keeping the knee as high as possible, make those circles big. Inhale, lifting. And exhale, reaching. This time we're going to step that left leg back now, finding our way into arrowhead. Okay, so our first one now we're very familiar with, round that left foot down now. Inhale, reach the right arm up and over. And then exhale, hands in prayer position, step that left leg forward to chair pose. Inhale, reaching the right arm up and over. And exhale, stepping forward into chair. Last round. Inhale, step that left leg back, reaching right arm up and over. And exhale, front of your mat to chair. Let the hips come down. Starting the next one from our reverse. So coming into your reverse, inhaling here. And then exhale, just pivoting the feet around and reaching the right arm up and over. Then doing the same thing again, keeping the upper body where it is, the legs are the only thing that's moving, keeping that left hand on the left leg. Maybe that's just holding the upper body in its arch there. Second round, inhale, and then exhaling to the back of your mat, to the front of your mat now. Okay, so we're going to start off on an inhale to the back of your mat here. And then next we are going to come into my favorite version, actually, this one. So we start here on an inhale and then we exhale into Goddess pose. So inhaling, that back leg, the right leg straightens and the foot is kind of facing at 45 degrees. And exhaling, both knees bent, hands in prayer position at your heart. Inhaling, reach that right arm up and over the left leg, and exhaling into Goddess pose. Okay, and we're going to journey now up to the top of our mat and take that flow to the left side. So step to the top of your mat, take a moment now, let's maybe take a little breath, building up a bit of heat here. And we'll take that flow with those extra little bits of mini flows all now onto the left side. So we want the right leg or the left leg to stay forward. So we're going to lift the right leg now, hands out to the side here. Lift the right leg up, flex the foot, keep it nice and strong. Inhaling here, exhale, open it out to the side, pivot the whole leg so that the foot lifts as well, and then reach that knee back. Keep the knee as high as you can. Inhale to lift. Exhale to draw circles with that knee as high as you can. It's like you're trying to reach your hand with your knee. It's never going to reach there, but that's the idea. Inhale to reach forward and exhale to reach it back. This time we step the leg back, reach the arms back and find our way into arrowhead. On our next inhale, we're going to ground that right foot down, open the hips to the side of your mat, reach that left arm up and over into our reverse warrior. Now this one we're really familiar with now. This is our inhale, and then exhale, reach the arms forward, prayer position, step that right leg forward, coming into chair pose. Inhale, step the right leg back, reach the left arm up and over, and exhale, hands in prayer position for chair, second round. Inhale, reaching right arm up and over. And exhale into our chair. Okay, we need to start the next one from our inhale up and over. And then exhale, we're going to pivot the feet around so that the front or the right leg is facing the back of the mat and the left leg is straight towards the back of the mat. And remembering the same thing, it's just the legs that are moving. So it's this thing where the legs are moving and the upper body is staying the same. Yeah. And then legs are moving. So one is straight, the other one's bent, the other one's straight, and the other one's bent, if that makes sense. That doesn't sound like it. Okay, so just do one more round of them into our reverse. And then exhale, pivoting the foot around to the back of the mat, reaching the right arm or the left arm up and over. Now we're going to take it into our next flow on the left side, where we take this in an inhale and exhale into goddess pose. Both knees bend, hips heavy, making sure that we're trying to lift those hip bones up, that we're not letting the whole groin area pull us forward here. And again, only coming down is where it's comfortable for you, working within your individual range of movement. Pivot the feet around the front of the mat again, reaching the left arm up and over on our inhale. Exhale, pivot the feet around, taking our goddess pose, second round. Inhale, pivot the feet again, reaching the left arm up and over. And exhale, bending both knees, let the hips become heavy. Okay, so this is our left side. We're going to come to the front of our mat now and do our final flow with the whole version, with the final chunk of 2 poses. So starting again from the front of your mat here. Okay, so that was the left side. We're now going to pour all our weight into our right foot, lift the left leg up, inhale, and exhale, reach that leg back. Inhale, reaching it forward, and exhale, reaching it back. And just notice whether this has become a little bit easier as we repeat these movements in the hips with this nice mobility. And just think of the fact that, like, maybe the hips don't do this every day, but it's good to make sure that you keep full range of movement in your hips. So that's definitely 3. So let's step the left leg back on our next round back. This is our exhale. Ground that left foot, left hand to left thigh, reaching right arm up and over into our reverse. This is our inhale, and then exhale, hands in prayer position, step that left leg forward, coming into our chair pose. Exhale here. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, chair. Inhale to reverse. And exhale, chair. Okay, we want to start our next one from reverse. So reverse. Now remembering this one where we just are flipping the arrangement of our feet around, where the back foot faces the back of our mat and the front foot faces at that 45-degree angle. So this is our inhale here, and exhale, just pivot the feet around until that left leg reaches the back of the mat. As simple as that. And keep the upper body as undisturbed as possible. This is our exhale, and then inhale, pivot the feet again so that the front foot, the right foot reaches towards the front of the mat. This is our inhale. And exhale, pivot the feet around. And inhale the other direction. And then exhale to the back of the mat. Inhaling here, our next mini flow. Exhale, both knees bent, hips heavy, goddess pose. Inhale, straighten that right leg, reach the right arm up and over. And exhale into goddess. Second round. Inhale, reaching the right arm up and over. And exhale into goddess. Okay, our next flow starts from goddess. So this is the last flow, which brings us back to the top of our mat. So inhale here. And exhale, pivot the feet around to the front of your mat. And let's reach the arms back. Let's make it simple for us rather than forward. So exhaling here. Inhale, goddess pose to the side of your mat. Exhale, hips to the front of your mat, arrowhead. Inhale to the side of your mat, both knees bent. And exhale to the front of your mat to arrowhead. We'll do one more. Inhale to the side of your mat. And exhale to the front of your mat for arrowhead. And then just step that left leg forward. Let's take a breath here into Tadasana before we do the full flow on the left side now. Press into your feet there now. Feel the strength that you're creating in your legs, the strength and mobility that you're creating in those hip joints, and the shoulders hopefully now will feel a nice little bit of fluid movement. So let's circle the shoulders here. Bringing the fingertips to the top of your shoulders. Let's circle them back and circle them forward. The back always feels like a more beneficial one, but it's nice to do the full range of movement for both of them. Let's take a side stretch. So just whichever side suits you, we're going to just do both. Press into the opposite foot. So if you're reaching over to your left side, press into the right foot there. And then reaching over to the opposite side. So if you're reaching to the right side, you're pressing into the left foot, just to ground down and give you something to stretch from. Okay, and then coming gently back to Tadasana. We're going to take that whole flow now on the left-hand side. So we want to lift our right leg up, arms out to the side. Last time, inhale, lift that right leg up, keeping the knee nice and high. Exhale, open it out to the side, keep the knee high, reaching it back. And if you go down a little bit, that's okay, but just the idea of keeping it high. Inhale, reach it forward enough. And exhale, reaching it back, lift the foot. Inhale, reaching it forward. And exhale, lifting it up and back for your third round. And then step that left leg back here now. Coming into our arrowhead. Ground that right foot down, nice and familiar now, reaching the left arm up and over into our reverse. Inhaling here. Exhale, hands in prayer position, step that right leg forward, dip the hips down and coming to chair pose. Exhale. Inhale, step that right leg back, reaching the left arm up and over. Press into that left foot now, give yourself a grounding. And exhale, step the right leg forward to chair pose. And coming back into our reverse, stepping the right leg back, reaching up and over. And then we're going to keep the upper body where it is now. We're just going to pivot the feet. Okay, so I have my right foot pivoting towards the back of the mat and my left foot pivoting at a 45-degree angle. I'm just going to keep my right arm on my right knee there, making sure that circling the shoulder back rather than letting it come forward. Exhaling here. Inhaling into reverse, so pivoting the feet around. See, can you keep the upper body as stable as possible as the legs and the hips move here. Inhale and exhale, pivoting the feet around to the back. Inhaling to the front and exhaling to the back. Okay, I'm definitely going to change around now so you can see me. Now we're going to inhale here and then exhaling, coming into our goddess pose. Inhaling into our Parsvakonasana, front knee bent, back leg straight, and exhale, both knees bent, hips drop down. Inhale, reaching the left arm up and over, and exhale, coming down. Now from here, this is our exhale, then we're going to pivot to the front of our mat and inhale into our arrowhead. No, sorry, this is our exhale. Okay, so let me just explain that one again. We're inhaling into our goddess, and then we're exhaling into the front of our mat into arrowhead. So inhaling to the side of your mat to goddess, and exhaling to the front of your mat. Hips moving in their sockets smoothly as you rotate the whole hip from the side of the mat to the front of the mat. Side of mat to the front of the mat. Let's do one more of them. Inhaling here and then exhaling to the front of your mat. Hands down either side of your front foot. Bring the left knee down, bring the right knee down, and take a rest in child's pose. Let's keep it an open child's pose here. We don't want to do anything too dramatic to the back. I can certainly feel a lovely stretch here as I keep the chest nice and open, but I'm letting my back round and I'm letting my shoulder blades spread across my back here. My knees are hip distance apart and my hips are pressing back towards my feet there. Okay, we're going to gently come up to all fours. Now we've just done a bit of a forward bend of the spine there. So really gently, not your full range of movement, coming into a cow pose, letting the belly soften down towards the ground. And then let's take a few rounds of cat-cow. Exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. And inhale, belly softens down towards the ground, remembering those two additional things we added on when we were doing our cat-cow at the very start of class. So for our inhale, we pressed into our hands and we drew our hands towards our knees here. And then on our exhale, we pressed our hands into the ground and we pressed the hands away from us. So just giving an extra little bit of grounding for the spine to move from. Okay, and we're going to start, or we're going to finish our movement start for practice the same way we started. We're going to do our warm up as our cool down now. So inhale into our cow position. Exhale, lifting the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, back into cow. And exhale, pressing into the tops of the feet, lift the knees off the ground, coming into cat. The knees lifted, a little bit of core work. And then inhale back to all fours and exhale into child's pose, letting the spine round forward over your thighs. Inhale, we're going to pivot that right foot off the right side of our mat, reach our left leg away, reach the left leg up. Exhale, reach the left hand towards the left foot, but don't hold on to it, active range of movement. Inhale to reach them out again and exhale back to all fours. We're going to continue with the second warm up that we did. So we're going to inhale here, exhale, step the right leg just to the outside of the right foot, have it maybe at that 45-degree angle if it gives you a little bit more space in the hips. We're going to come up onto the ball of our left foot there. And remember, you're coming up onto the fist, the fingertips are grounding the hand, just whatever feels more space in the thighs there or in the inner groin. Inhale, sweep that right arm up and over. And then exhale, lift that left leg, tap the left thigh with the right leg. Inhale, I'm going to move back so I don't have anything in my way. Inhale, reach and sweep the right arm up and over, maybe even tapping the back of your hips there. And exhale, drawing that big, huge circle in the sky, tapping the thigh with your right leg. One more time. Inhale, reach the arm up and over, tap the back of your pelvis. And exhale, lifting that left leg, tapping the left thigh. Bringing the left knee down, coming back, bringing the right leg back, coming back to tabletop position. Taking an inhale here and one more exhale. Let's start that little flow again, moving from the left-hand side now. So inhale, soften the belly down towards the ground. And exhale, lifting the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, belly softens. And exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. A little bit of core work. Inhale, back to all fours. And exhale, press the hips back towards the thighs. On our inhale, we're going to pivot the left leg out to the left side, reach the right arm up and the right leg away. And exhale, reaching towards the foot, but not holding on to it. Inhale to stretch away again. And exhale back down to all fours. Taking one more inhale here. And exhale, we're going to step that left leg forward at that 45-degree, just to the outside of the left hand. This time now, we're going to sweep the left arm up, tucking those right toes under now. And exhale, lift that right leg, tap the top of the right thigh with the left hand. Inhale, sweep. So drawing that big circle in the sky. Tap the back of the left of the pelvis or any part of the pelvis. And exhale, lifting that left leg, tapping the right thigh. Inhale, circling. And exhale, tap the right thigh. Then bringing the right thigh or the right knee down, step the left leg back and coming to a tabletop position. We are ready now to move into the restorative part of our practice. So you've done lots of movement there now. What we're going to do is work with a little bit of spinal mobility. So what you will need for this part of the practice, I've kept it nice and simple. Usually in our Move and Restore class, we use bolsters and bricks and lots of blankets. for this practice, for those of you that haven't done my practice before, I've kept it nice and simple, and we just have one blanket, and there is lots that you can do with just one blanket. So if you don't have a blanket, possibly go grab it now. And I'll just explain what we're going to do with the blanket. So what we're going to do with the blanket, we're going to start, let's see, where are we going to start? We're going to start with the hips. So if you bring your blanket into a 4-fold, which is this kind of a thing, and this is, I mean, you know, we can get lovely cotton, gorgeous yoga blankets in places like Yoga Matters online, but this is, I haven't got one of them yet. This is just an IKEA blanket. So any type of a blanket will do, possibly not those really fluffy, fleecy ones, because they squash a lot down towards the ground. So you'd probably need to make a bigger roll with one of them. This is just, you know, that kind of a, this is fleecy, but it's more the fluffy ones that lose their shape. Okay, so take it into a 4-fold. For the hips, we want to keep it relatively small. And again, what we're going to do is I'm going to talk you into the poses. And as we settle, you might need to adjust. It just depends how your body reacts to how high we bring the prop in our practice. So if you do need to adjust, it's always important in restorative that if there's any sense of discomfort or too much of a stretch, because we're looking for gentle openings for the nervous system to feel safe to open. We're not looking for massive big stretches here. That's the best way to work with the nervous system. So what we want to do is have it low enough so that we're not feeling too much of a sensation, particularly in our lower back for this first one, because we're opening the front of the hips here. And you will notice that if you bring it too high, you will feel that the pelvis is trying to take the effort of the lift, and you will get too much of an arch in your lower back there. So it's really important, particularly with something like online classes where, you know, it really is your own practice, and you can come out of the poses and readjust and make sure that you are absolutely comfortable without feeling that, you know, within a class scenario, you might feel that you're disturbing the peace of the class. Certainly not in these online classes. Okay, so pop your roll, and that's how thick my roll is there. And that's kind of, you know, the sponginess of it. You're going to pop it into the center of your mat there now. What we're going to do is just come with our hips onto the back of the roll there. And what we're looking for is so we're looking to open this hip crease here. So to open that hip crease, we want the roll to sit right underneath it. So if you have a kind of an idea of where the hip crease is, make sure the roll is right underneath it. So just to demo that, I can see my hip crease is there. So I want the roll to be underneath. That's kind of a mistake a lot of people make when they're doing hip openers. So maybe keep the knees a little bit bent as you gently bring yourself down, coming down to on your forearms first, coming gently into it, because, you know, you'll know pretty soon if you've made that roll too high for yourself. So there I have, my hips are gently placed on the roll there, and I'm going to lengthen my legs away one at a time. Lengthen right leg away, lengthen left leg away. And you should feel, I hope that you do feel, just a lovely opening at the front of those pointy hip bones there. So I know that I've come up too high, and I'm perfectly, my height of my blanket is perfect for me, but you'll know that you've come up too high if you feel any sort of an overarch in your lower back there. So just come off your blanket and take one roll out of it and then come back onto it. Another way to adjust that is you just kind of feel a little bit too much sensation in your back there, but it's okay. If you just check and to see is everyone all right, is you can kind of have a sense of, you know, the way in your cat-cow we tilt our pelvis forward and back. If you can tilt your pelvis back a little bit so that the lower back is moving maybe a little bit down towards the ground, or the upper pelvis is moving down towards the ground, that will take the overarch out of your back there and bring the stretch into the pelvis or the front of the hip flexors there. Arms can be palms facing up, a little bit of room, maybe just off the blanket there, bring them down to the ground. Have the feet just dropping out to the side, whatever is comfortable for the legs. I'm just feeling the sensation of this lovely opening at the front of the pelvis there. So these muscles at the front of our pelvis is where we hold an awful lot of tension. It's the muscle that not only is being over over-shortened from the extent of time that we sit throughout our day. But it's also the muscle that's deeply linked to the fight or flight or the sympathetic nervous system. It's the one that kind of is almost over tense, ready to jerk into action when we are feeling quite stressed a lot of the time. So even something like this gentle hip opening can have profound effect on our stress levels, because we are using the body to send signals to the nervous system that we are not under attack, that we are in a safe situation, and that we can lengthen those fight or flight nerve muscles. So bringing your attention to your breath now. And see, can you just take a few deep rounds, even with the mouth open or closed, whatever feels comfortable for you. Just, take a big sigh. And the body sighs because the exhale is again tapping into the vagus nerve, which is the nerve of the rest and restore. So the body is just so clever. And it's always trying to find balance again. Sometimes we throw so much stimulus at it that it really is challenged to find balance, but it's constantly working to find balance and to work with us and not against us. Now I want to make sure that we hit all 3 points of our spine here now. So just bend the knees, press your feet into the ground, just gently lift the hips up and bring the roll up to just kind of underneath the shoulder blades there. Or, it's kind of, it's lower, it's kind of mid back is what we're looking for. And then just bring the pelvis down towards the ground and lengthen the legs out. So it's kind of where it's positioned is just above the arch of the lower back. So we're opening up the lower ribs there. We're going to do a third version when we bring it up higher, where we're opening the upper chest. So where you don't really want your blanket is to be sitting in the curve of your lower back, because it won't really be opening anything, because the lower back is lifted already off the ground. So it's just around about at the small of, or not the small of your back, just the lower ribs there, right underneath the lower ribs. Again, the arms can be in that T shape. There's the space between the body and the arms, palms facing up towards the ceiling. And with the blanket now, just that little bit further up, we start to actually notice the opening of the lower respiratory system. And it really helps us to link into the expansion of the breath with our inhale and the contraction with our exhale when we have a prop like this under our lower back, because it magnifies the sensation at the front of the chest bone. In this case, it's our lower ribs that we're seeing or feeling opening more. So always coming back to the breath again. Maybe even following me, and if you don't want to do counted breath, then just continue to breathe and whatever feels good for you. I'm going to give us 3 rounds of counted 4-6 breaths. So inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 6, just gently trying to lengthen that exhale to tap into the rest and restore response. So inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1, feeling those ribs opening, and exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhaling for 6, 5,
4, 3, 2, 1. Last round, inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's move our blanket again. So bending the knees up. Maybe just lifting the upper body now a little bit. So where we want the blanket now is just at the tip of our shoulder blades. And the way I know if I have it in the right space is I bring my blanket to it, and there's about 2 fingers distance between your prop and your armpit there, your upper arm. So you feel that lovely opening through the chest, and then lengthen the legs out. So for this one, I'm going to give you options for the arms here. You can bring the arms in that T shape again, or for a little bit more shoulder opening. But again, just remembering it's opening that we're looking for. We can bring the arms into cactus position. I would suggest that if the arms don't comfortably hit the ground in cactus position, that it might be actually more stimulating for the sympathetic nervous system because it's hanging in space. So I would either get another blanket and prop them underneath what is not hitting the ground, or just bringing the arms back into their T shape. So just making sure everything is supported by the floor, your mat, the props. Coming back to the breath again, and now feeling the magnification of sensation of the breath in the upper chest here, even though the breath is going through the whole upper, lower, and belly. When we have that prop underneath the chest, the upper chest here, we feel the sensation of the breath in the upper rib cage more. So we'll do those 3 rounds again of our 4-6 breaths. So inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then just letting the breath do whatever it wants, nice and gentle. The ebb and flow of the waves of the breath moving through your whole system. And even the sense of the breath moving into the cells of your fingertips and the toes. So you can use soften the muscles across your forehead. Let the eyes become heavy in their sockets. Let the skin across your cheekbones be as soft as silk, draping across the bones of your face. And getting ready to gently move, bending the knees up one at a time. And then maybe just rolling over to the right-hand side. Press the left hand into the ground to lift yourself up. I'm going to come into our last pose here now before we take a Shavasana. So maybe just let's unravel our blanket there and roll it back up again. Mine has definitely gone a bit flat. So we're going to take a nice, gentle, full chest opener here. And we're going to use the rolled up blanket across the length of our mat there. So it's along the long length side of our mat. And we're going to lie along it. So it's almost like what we do with our bolster, but it's much gentler because it's just a blanket. So bring the hips towards the back of the blanket there. A little bit of space, although it's not imperative because it's going to squish as you roll down on it. And just using your forearms to gently hit the whole spine along the blanket there, making sure that your head is still hitting the top of the blanket. So adjust yourself and shimmy down your mat if your head has fallen off the back of the blanket, because that will be quite a big extension for the neck there. Okay, so just lengthen the legs out. We're just going to gently open the chest here. And don't worry if you're a little bit wobbly on your blanket. We're just going to take a few breaths here to open the chest before we take a nice Shavasana. So feel the shoulders. What's lovely about this is you kind of feel the shoulders submitting to gravity and just gently dropping either side of the rolled blanket, which is supporting your spine there. So it's a lovely way to open those shoulders that often are terribly rolled forward in life. Now feel the breath equally through the upper, lower ribs and the belly here. So it's just a nice way to feel a full, rounded breath as we have come through the versions where we're looking at particular parts of the breath. And just to feel a sense that the breath is such a three-dimensional thing. Okay, so we're going to get ready now to come into our Shavasana. So just bend your left leg up there and just roll off your blanket. Let's try and come into our Shavasana with as little effort as possible. Push your rolled blanket down towards the end of your mat, and even just with your feet, kick it around until it reaches the point where it'll just gently support the backs of your knees there. So always good, no matter how much restorative you feel in your practice, it is always lovely to come down all the way to the ground and take a bit of time in Shavasana. Feel that neutral spine, feel the natural curves of your spine, your pelvis sitting equally on the ground there, your shoulders feeling nice and level, and feeling everything hitting the ground with equal force, or as much as our poor little asymmetrical bodies will allow. So taking some few moments of silence in your practice here to just own your Shavasana. Come back to your breath, come back to those little muscles in the face if you need to, just to find settling down and restorative, giving your body this time to replenish and absolutely absorb the benefits of the movement and the restorative. Getting ready to gently move back into your day. Maybe just kicking the blanket out from under your knees there. And rolling over to your right-hand side. Taking one deep breath here, maybe a 4-6 breath. And using your left hand to support you, gently make your way up to a comfortable seated position. Hands in prayer position to your heart. And just taking a moment to thank yourself for coming to your practice today and for exploring your mobility and for caring, for taking care of yourself to ensure that you maintain this mobility through life and in your time off your mat. Thumbs to your third eye, to your lips, to your heart center, and namaste. And thank you for joining me in this practice. So my next Move and Restore session will be starting on the 3rd of September, and you will find all the booking information on my website, www.yogaroo.ie, in the shop section of the website. And hope to see you next week. We've one more free class and then it kicks into the Move and Restore classes. So you're very welcome to share this as well with anyone that you think would enjoy it. I will also send anyone that's done the live class here, if they would like to have the recording as well, send me an email, because I need to get an email for it and your permission, and I'll send you through the recording. Thank you.